back to living life Dow style. It's a beautiful day out here, man. Very cool. We got a cool snap over the night. Got a little frost on the ground. Life is good. Sun shining. We're trying to cut on this old raggedy mill, y'all. Check this thing out. It's crazy. This right here, this is a homemade mill. And when I say homemade, I mean homemade. Let me see that camera. I'm gonna take the guys for a view here. Show you what we got going on here. All right, we had a when I first bought this mill, I got this thing for like 600 bucks, and it had an old flathead like a Briggs style engine on it. And let me tell you something, that thing, when you pull that cord, if you didn't make sure when you pulled the cord on that thing, like right here, the pull cord, if you didn't pull it until you felt the compression and then pulled it, and you pulled it before then, that thing would jerk the cord out of your hand. It actually caused me to almost have ligament problems in my hand trying to crank it. And but we replaced that. We got us a key start motor. I went and got a Predator engine plus a 420, a bigger engine. Initially, when I bought it, all the framework is like you see it pretty much. Now the only thing I've done is I have recently these part that holds the wood down, I've redone that because he had some smaller stuff and it wasn't very good, and it was real flexible to hold that. But this thing initially had wood wheels on it. Okay, guy made them, and did not have these covers. I decided I didn't want to be cutting on that thing without a cover, with that belt, with that blade rotating around there. I said no. So I did buy new wheels and put a cover on it, and it didn't have the it had no blade guides on it. Now I think they were on it at one time, but the guy that I bought it from, they weren't on it when I bought it from him. And I'm gonna tell you, when I saw it, I almost walked away from it, and I asked the guy if it would cut, and he cranked it up, and I watched him cut a I don't know, 1-inch piece of wood off of a log that he had sitting out there. And the look on his face was frightening, because you could tell he cut it so slow, and he was so scared that that blade was going to come off of it. But I've done so much work to it. I put that battery box on top for the battery for the motor, and we also put a winch right on the end of it to lift it up and down. It originally had a bunch of pulleys with these old, it was ratchet looking. He had these old lead weights hanging on it and everything. And so I called myself improving it pretty good. But I've still, it's like a project. You're always going to have some kind of something or another to deal with. Now, I put these, let me show you this. I put this tape measure on here, right up here. You can see this tape measure I got here. And what I did is I've got it set right here at, if you take it down to 0, it'll be all the way down to 0. But what I want to get for it, which is so much nicer, is they sell an electronic data scale or whatever for it, where you can zero it anywhere you want, but it'll make cutting wood way more accurate, knowing, all right, I cut one piece at 1 inch. Now what I've rigged up right now is I'll have that scale there, but if I'm cutting a lot of pieces at at a certain inch, what I'll do is I will bring the blade right here down to the top of the piece of wood that I'm cutting. And then when I see what the scale reads, if I want to cut a 1-inch board, I'll take it down, I'll back it up and take 1 inch off of it. And then I take and set this thing right here on top of the wood at 1 inch, basically at 1 inch. So when I come back, all I really have to do is go down and allow that wheel right there, allow that wheel to basically touch the wood firmly. And that's pretty doggone close for rough sawn. But anyway, we got us some wood cut here. We're going to go do some work on the old greenhouse. we've let the greenhouse go, and here, let me give the old camera back to the content creator. Here you go. I'm not gonna shine it on her. Anyway, we're gonna go over here to the greenhouse and we're gonna take off. We've got plastic panels all the way around the greenhouse, okay? And when I built it, that's the way you see most of them built. It makes sense, you know. But what I've come to realize is the way my greenhouse is positioned, you know, it's positioned from east to west, so when the sun goes over, there's never any sun that comes through the back side of the greenhouse. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, up to a certain point on the back of it, we're gonna take the plastic stuff off and we're gonna put wood on them. We'll do board and batten wood. And then I'm gonna do some on the side walls, but I'm not gonna go up as high on the sides. And then I'm not gonna have any on the front, except maybe just a little bit at the bottom. And what it's gonna do for me is it's gonna help me to heat it during these winter nights. I've got one of those master torpedo heaters. We had a brand new one that we used last year, and I got to use it this year. I got it out, but I left it plugged in all year, and I think a lightning or something popped the control board because I'm not getting any power, and I've done all the testing, and everything leads to the control board. So I've had to order a $75 control board for it. But in the meantime, it was 30 degrees last night, so we've got lemon trees and all kind of stuff that we're trying to save. If you let frost hit those leaves, it's done. And so we bought another one and we got it in there, but I bought a bigger one this time. And not that I needed a bigger one, but it was only $50 more for a bigger one. So I just said, heck, I'm gonna get the big one. But what it does is it's thermostatically controlled, and it runs off of diesel fuel or kerosene. And what it does is you can set it to a certain temperature, and what it'll do is it'll come on and run until it senses that temperature, and then it'll cut off, and it basically cuts on and off. And what I'm trying to accomplish is it does the job no problem. But what I'm trying to accomplish is I'm trying to accomplish where it cuts on and off less and maintains the temperature, so I use less fuel. Now I only had a half a tank in it last night, and this thing barely is under a half a tank. It didn't run too extremely often. Like it would come on every 30 minutes and it would run for about maybe 3 or 4 minutes because it's so powerful. It heats that little greenhouse up. But anyway, that's what my plans are today. I'm glad to get back to cutting some on the mill. It can be cantankerous at times because any kind of project mill is going to you're going to constantly have to work on it, or whatever you design. If it's not a great design, it could fail, and if it does, you have to reinvent the wheel and try to fix it again. But anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm trying to cut wood. I wanted to cut me some wood before I started pulling plastic off. Make sure the wheel was going to get it. Make sure the mill was going to get it done. And I don't have enough wood right now, but I think I'm in good shape. I'm going to run over to the greenhouse and we're going to take some plastic off on the back wall, and we're going to get started back there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing is if it's not exactly 22 7/8. Ooh, I did not have any 6 3/4. I did not use any particular math on this thing. Okay, that means we'll cut one at a time. Let's see. Let's mark up. although that's no excuse for sorriness. Sometimes when I do a job for myself, if I'm being honest with myself, sometimes I just want to get it done. But life shouldn't be lived that way. All right, 22 7/8. Now some of this wood that I've got here has some dry rot on it, but I'm gonna cut the dry rot off. I could probably speak a novel to myself when I'm by myself just talking. I talk to myself all day long. Ears. All right, guys. Some folks like to cut everything first and then put them together. See, I like instant gratification. I want to see what it's going to look like. How you like that? That was not a very straight cut, even though I thought it was. We're going to try to cut that. We're going to nip that off again. Better. All right. Now my tools are accumulating in my way. Turn this over. 65. No, I'm brand new. I just cut these into wood. Those boards laying out there, you can make letters with them, like the letter S. That's what you get when you don't hold it up. I want to say this right off the bat. Power tools are dangerous. Very dangerous, folks. Almost. Yeah. I think so. We'll see. That'd be perfect. That means I don't want to cut off very much at all here. And I don't know if you guys have noticed or not. You probably haven't, but I am a lefty. And I do not like to use my right hand, even though it's supposed to be done. Well, all these boards have been chainsaw cut on the end. So you have to always start with a fresh factory cut. Yeah, I normally have a chop saw, but I want to say this. These circular saws, very, very dangerous. These things will jump back and you'll cut yourself all to pieces with one of these. Very dangerous, guys. If you're not familiar with a saw, please be careful. A chop saw, something that has an arm on it that you can just bring down, that's way safer, and it'll be worth the extra money if you've never done this before. Just telling you, I've been fortunate over the years. I've never had a problem, or I've never gotten cut bad, but I have seen friends cut parts of fingers off and stuff. It's for real. It's for real. Actually, I think I'm gonna bring that on this side this time, just so I can manage this fall down. Because see, that's another thing with a chop saw. When you make the cut, it'll fall on both sides instead of just one side. And the nature of these things, when you're pushing and cutting, when you're cutting the wood's gotta, because you're pushing, the wood's gonna want to pinch the saw blade. Let me go cut another one. I need more gratification than just one board. See if we can get something out of those. If not, I'll just go cut some more. But another thing too with this rough sawing, a lot of this wood is I've actually let it set too long. It's almost, some of it's almost not usable now. But this stuff is wet, and if you cut it immediately, you want to go on and get this stuff up on the wall. To minimize warpage. Once it's screwed down, it's kind of, the nails, the fasteners are going to hold it in place, and it's going to make it to where as it dries, you know, it's not going to move as much on you. If I lay one of these boards out here in the sun on a good hot day, maybe even today, and let the sun beat on it all day, it freaking will look like a pretzel. It just blows my mind. You'll notice that too if you buy pressure treated wood from the box store or any of your hardware stores. If you leave a pressure treated board out in the sun for any length of time, that sucker will turn and bow and everything. Because your pressure treated wood, when you get it, it's already wet. Yeah, that's going to be my only difficult. Like I said, all my tools are now up at the bunkie. Yeah. Keep reaching for my pouch. And see, I wear a pouch every day. So when I do something like this for myself, I do not want to put my pouch on. But it would probably be better for me if I did. Therefore, I may go ahead and take it off because it's not very caulkable because of the fact that it's vinyl. What's going to happen to it is it moves a lot. Ridge. It'll be easier to caulk a piece of wood than vinyl. Oh, it's glued on there pretty good though now. Maybe causing myself more work right here. Guess what? We've done it. We have done it. Some more trash for Steven. Oh Lord, it's pulling the cladding off of the door. Which is one more reason why I probably need to get rid of it anyway. Steven's trash. All right, let's see. All right. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll go on up on this a little ways just to cover that gap right here and to keep that from getting to that water. I mean, after all, it's just a greenhouse, but still. Let's see. Okay. Oh, let me see. They're doing it now like this. I might not have to cut it. I can just run it over and then just start running the smaller boards across instead of having to cut it. Hey, save yourself. Screws in the drill. So what I was thinking about doing on the inside here, these shelves, we've got a bunch of that decking, you know, from leftover from up at the lake house. I was thinking about taking this plywood off and putting that on here because that way it's not going to rot and you can get it wet and it doesn't matter, you know. You looked at me kind of funny. I thought you was going to balk on that. Huh? Was you fixing to balk on that idea? It sounded like you were. It scared me. I thought I was gonna have to. I thought I was gonna have to go towards the woods and run.